From the studios of Canton High School, it's Focus on Football with Ben Aronson and Matt Martin.
Hello, and welcome back to Football Focus. I'm Ben Aronson here with
Matt Martin.
a little Week 8 preview for the fans out there.
Week 8 recap, not a preview.
Oh my God.
It's all right.
We just went over that too. That was bad. Okay. Before we start, a little shout out to the Boston Red Sox, 2018 World Series champions.
Dominant series.
Dominant series. The Red Sox were the better team. Probably should have realistically won in four if Kinsler didn't narrow the ball, but it's great to grow up in the city of champions. So many championships since I've been born in 2001. So keep it going. Hopefully the Pats and the Celtics add to it this year, but we'll see what happens with that. But still an exciting Sunday in the National Football League.
I'm a little bit upset.
Yeah, Matt's Packers are right there, but we're gonna get into that later.
I'm gonna save it for the end of the show because I'll lose everything I have. If I do them first, I'll lose everything I have, and then I'll just be upset. Because I'm gonna be upset. It's gonna be.
Matt went to bed at around 7:30, right when the game ended. He was devastated.
And then I woke back up to watch the Saints and Vikings. 'Cause that was. I did watch the Saints and Vikings. I did not really watch that much of the World Series. I flipped back and forth.
I didn't watch any of the Saints and Vikings, so Matt will be the one really recapping that. But first game, it was a London game against going into the season, two Super Bowl contenders. Not really so much anymore, but Eagles got the job done against the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Good one for the Eagles. They can stay competitive in the NFC East.
Yes.
Are the Jaguars 3-5 right now?
The Jaguars are done. I think this game showed they just don't have it. They
don't have a quarterback.
Their defense is playing good, but their offense is just struggling. This is gonna be it for them. That's their season.
3-5?
They're 3-5. They already lost to Houston.
They're tied with the Colts right now?
Yeah.
Wow, that's bad. I think this is Houston's division to lose now.
I agree.
Going into the season, we were also high on Jacksonville. If you ask me, I might have picked them to win the AFC, but
yeah,
regression to the mean. Matt, you always talk about it.
Yeah.
Not even with their quarterback, but their defense as a whole. Blake Bortles got to get out of there. Need to bring in an actual quarterback. Leonard Fournette, obviously, his injury's not helping, but it's a tough blow for Jaguars fans. After so many years of being bad, you're back right at square one. But we can get to the next game.
Broncos Chiefs. This basically just put the nail in the Broncos' coffin. Talking about selling Demaryius Thomas. If they got to 4-4, it would have been. They probably would have at least went for it because you look at their record. Interesting. Not letting me look at the AFC. They would be 4-4. I think they would be in a wild card spot. No, they would not. But they'd be about a game out of the wild card. But now 3-5. Wild card's looking like 5-3 right now.
Yeah, and I think a positive sign maybe for the Broncos that you can take out of this is that in both games that they played with the Chiefs, it's been a pretty good game. Mm-hmm. It's been separated by a touchdown both times.
Think about it. They could easily be 5-3 if they just maybe they converted that hook and ladder against the Chiefs, and if they got a couple better bounces yesterday.
Yeah, but obviously they need to get in a young quarterback to groom. I don't think Case Keenum's a long-term answer there.
Neither do I.
But again, the Chiefs are so good. Kareem Hunt. Did you see his hurdle? Did you see that? That was insane. Way too many weapons on this offense. This team is a real threat in the AFC.
I agree. I think they're gonna. We'll save for tears.
Yeah. Less exciting game. Steelers Browns. It looked like a good game until the Steelers blew it out of the water.
Steelers
might win this division.
I don't want to jump ship, but. One of the things that Cincinnati was helping them out is their defense was playing solid, and their defense has lost it. Their defense looks
they've been
poor.
Playing so bad.
They've gotten hurt. If you want me to pick right now, I would pick Pittsburgh to win this division.
Yeah.
Baltimore's dropped some key games. That put the nail. Now the Browns are completely out of the division. Not that they were really in it. They would have been 3-4-1. Yeah, they would have been in it. They would have
been competing for it. But
that's it for them.
I think. Now we're going to see Todd Haley, their offensive coordinator, get fired, and we're going to see Hugh Jackson get fired.
I hope.
They need to bring in a young offensive mastermind.
If Kyle Shanahan gets fired before Hugh Jackson,
They can't fire Kyle Shanahan.
But if they do, if Kyle Shanahan gets fired, that is absurd.
They cannot fire Kyle Shanahan. He's a great coach in this league, and it's not his fault that his backup quarterback is CJ Beathard. Obviously, you want Jimmy Garoppolo playing all season. They were 0-3 with Jimmy Garoppolo, but
they didn't have easy games. They lost to Lions, lost to the Chiefs when he got hurt, lost to the
Chargers. I think.
I think they had Beathard for that game. I don't know.
They did have Beathard for the Chargers. I don't know. But either way, Kyle Shanahan. If Kyle Shanahan gets fired, the Browns need to hire him right away.
Yeah, that's it for the 49ers, who we weren't even talking about.
Yeah, no need to talk about the 49ers Cardinals game.
Redskins Giants. The Giants just
are the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, the Redskins are
5-2.
I think they're gonna win the division.
They are sneaky. They are a sneaky 5-2.
They play the Falcons. They play the Bucks. They play the Texans. They play the Cowboys. They can win all those games.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a 10-6 team. And in the wild card game, every single person is going to pick against them.
And they're going to lose. They're going to lose in the wild card. But I think you can draw a lot of similarities between the AFC South before last year, where the Texans made it 3 straight years of 8-8. I think the Redskins obviously will have a better record, but I think you get a draw against them in a playoff game, you're happy.
Yeah,
they're so beatable. They're just playing consistent football, and I think that's a big thing in the NFL. We see teams score 41 week, 0 the next week, and the Redskins have just been consistent. Alex Smith doesn't turn over the ball. The defense has been serviceable. Adrian Peterson has been playing great.
AP played great.
And now you're going to see a team like the Redskins go 11-5, lose the wild. Maybe if they're in the wild card game, they lose it. But it's going to be interesting to watch.
Seahawks Lions. Lions had a chance to. Lions would have been leading. I think they would have been leading the division.
Did they beat? They haven't played.
Chicago. They haven't played Chicago, but they had the tiebreaker.
It's crazy because you look at that division and everyone's 4-3, or 3-4-1, 3-4-1, 3-4. You would I expected that division to be like. I expected the Packers and the Vikings to maybe lose to each other. That's maybe.
I don't want to talk about the Packers right now. The Lions, they have the benefit of having an easy schedule going forward. Well, kind of. They're at the Vikings, they're at the Bears, probably 2 losses.
But again, with the inconsistencies with the Lions, their offense looks so great, and then they put up 14 points this week
against Seattle.
Against a team
big win for Seattle.
This is not the same. Big
Seattle,
win for Seattle.
I think they jump into the wild card spot. They might. Oh no, Chicago would because Chicago beat them. But yeah. Good one for Seattle.
I'm shocked the Seahawks are still competitive after everyone they lost.
Their offensive lines look better. I think we all just kind of forgot that Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, with no talent around. Never had any talent around him.
Problem is they now have they had the Chargers coming to town. They're going to L.A. The Packers coming in on a Thursday night. Going to Carolina.
That's 4 straight losses. That's 4 straight.
Then the 49ers, which is an easy one, but home for the Vikings.
They might be 4-7 after that 4-game skid they used to, or 4-game.
At the Niners, home for the Chiefs. Wow.
Yeah. So we won't see Seattle in the playoffs. Sorry, 12th man.
Bucks Bengals.
My bold prediction did not come to fruition, but it was very close.
Bengals.
Jameis Winston's done.
I feel
the Bucks are going to cut
lied him. I feel cheated on. I feel like I bought into them. I thought they were going to be different this year, but they're not. They're the same team.
They're the same Marvin Lewis Cincinnati Bengals who will get a wild card spot.
This was a chance to make a statement, and they won the game, and it was not a statement.
They won by 3, and they almost blew it. Ryan Fitzmagic came in and lit it up again. I don't understand him. I don't understand the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston should be cut and never play again in the NFL. But if you're Jameis Winston, you're a former number 1 pick. The day that Ryan Fitzpatrick goes in for you is a sad day. Mm-hmm. And the day that you have to debate whether or not you're the starting quarterback for a 3-4 team in the National Football League is a sad day for Jameis Winston. Obviously, always had the talent, but never did anything with it.
Jets, Bears. Bears now lead the division. Call me when the Bears beat a good team. That's just how I'm going to leave it. They beat the Jets. They beat the Bills. They beat the Bucks. And they've beaten the hurt Seahawks at home on a night game.
Yeah, I mean,
it lost to the Cardinals. No, they beat the Cardinals. They haven't played the Bills yet. They play the Bills next week. That'll probably be 5-3. Either way, they're not. I'm not gonna believe in them until they win a legit game.
I think the Bears. I'd classify the Bears as an above-average team. But above-average teams find ways to beat bad teams. Mm-hmm. So once the Bears start beating and winning some of those teams or games against good teams, Then we see the Bears turn into a
I can't believe
contender.
how upset I am right now.
Yeah, dude, Matt
I'm
can't
sorry,
get over the
dude.
Packers game.
I can't wait to talk. These 2 night games, I'm gonna have a good time talking about.
Real quick, Panthers Ravens. Panthers blew them out of the water. 5-2 Panthers.
I was wrong about the Panthers.
4-4 Ravens.
I was wrong. They proved something to me.
Yeah.
Once we get to tiers, I'll talk about them. But
If it wasn't for the Saints, this might be the Panthers' division to
yeah,
lose. But we'll get into that later. We'll go to Packers Rams last. So Matt, we don't want Matt crying towards the end of the show. We'll do it towards the end of the show. Saints Vikings. I'm gonna let you talk about that. I didn't really watch it.
if I told you a team was gonna win the game with just a little bit of offense, a little consistency, and causing turnovers on defense, you would have thought the Vikings would win the game.
Yep.
This is not the game I thought the Saints would win. They caused some turnovers. The Saints dominated. They dominated this game. The scoreboard doesn't show it. Absolute domination. And this is a very disheartening loss for the Vikings. They looked poor at home in a night game, in a game they should be up for.
I don't get the NFC North.
If we were doing buy or sell, I would sell the Vikings. They just, going into the year, they were a team we were so high on, and injuries to the offensive line really hurt them. Yes, Barr and Rhodes didn't play, Anthony Barr and Xavier Rhodes, but that wasn't like that. Like the Saints, the way we thought they could beat good teams this year is just by outscoring them.
Yep.
But if they're going to have a defense, because their defense is not good enough to hold teams to no points and like hold them low scoring, if their defense can just cause turnovers here and there, this seems to be scary.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, I talked about how I didn't watch the game, but I went on the fantasy app this morning, and I look at my team, and I have Drew Brees, and he had 150 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and they put up 30 points. So I think, like Matt said, if the defense can cause those turnovers and they establish that run game, and then you get a 300-yard game with 3 touchdowns from Drew Brees, this team is tough to beat.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, the Vikings' game plan on defense was exactly what they need to do. Well, one thing, Taysom Hill had like a 50-yard pass. He threw it a little bit. So that's why I took away from Brees' stats. But the Vikings only blitzed Drew Brees 2 times, which I think is what you need to do against him. And he still looked like the Vikings couldn't solve him. And if this is how it's going to be in October, and they had a good game plan, and
they can't
use it, how is January going to be any different?
Yeah, and I think
the Vikings
and Packers this year is just the inconsistencies have hurt 2 teams that should be battling at the top of the division, but right now sitting second and third and a tiebreaker.
Speaking of a great segue.
Quick moment of silence for Matt and the Green Bay Packers, who had the best chance of beating the Rams so far this year. I'm gonna introduce the play, and then we'll get into the game, and then we'll let Matt give his spiel. But me and Matt were texting right after Zerline kicked that field goal.
Yeah,
it was 29-27. Me and Matt are still texting. Kickoff, okay.
Defense played so good.
Montgomery runs it out. Could have kneeled it. Gets to about the 10-15. Fumbles the ball. Rams recover. Run out the clock. Stupid play by Montgomery. I don't know why he ran it out in the first place. There was no need to. But this one hurts. It hurt me to watch. I was texting Matt. I was like, I don't know what to say. I think you just go to bed. But I'm going to let you take it from the Packers fan. I'm going to let Matt run through what was going through his head.
The world of football was deprived. They were robbed and cheated by Ty Montgomery. We've seen a couple times this year Aaron Rodgers come out, most talented quarterback in the league, come out and just put the team on his back and do magical things that's so fun to watch. Here's the 49ers last week, changing the snap count, throwing that touch pass to Adams in the end zone. The game against the Bears, Rodgers coming back, leading a 20-something point comeback.
Right from the beginning, you kind of got the sense that the Packers had the perfect game plan.
Almost had a magical comeback against the Lions. They established the run, which is the one thing they needed to do left on offense was establish the run. It just, the offense came out a little bit slow, and the defense played great. Jair Alexander played the best game of his career. He was unstoppable.
Yep.
He made key tackles. They did end arounds, which usually the Packers can't stop, and he was getting down, making some big tackles. So to summarize the game, went up 10-0. Absolute domination in the first half. The Packers dominated.
So much pressure on Jared Goff.
It looked like a 30-0 game in the first half, but they couldn't get too many points on the board, which was tough. 10-8 going to half.
Yep.
Yeah, and then so coming out of halftime, the Rams took the momentum. It was what was it? It was 10-8, and then the
13-8 Packers.
Yes, 13-8 Packers, and then the Rams scored and went for 2.
Yep. I think they got it.
Because I'm just trying to have my facts straight. Because then the play that turned the tide was the punt. Did you see the punt?
Where the Packers, like towards the end of the game when the Rams got it, like their own 40.
No, it was 13-8 because the Packers kicked a field goal first drive of the second half, and then Gurley. Oh, it was in the second quarter. That's when the tide changed. It was 10-0. Packers held them to a punt, punted it down. Sam Shields, the former Packer, had a great down on the 1 yard line, and next play the Packers do a halfback dive right up the middle into the worst part of their offensive line and the best part of the Rams defense. Mark Barron comes in on a blitz, unblocked. Jones is dropped for a safety. Rams get the ball back. Todd Gurley just pounds down the field. Josh Reynolds touchdown. 10-8 at a half. 13-8. And then Rams came out, made it 23-13. Packers right away. That was the drive. We had like a 3rd and 15. I don't know if you were watching. And literally the air was just out of the Packers. And Rodgers throws this dime, like a 45-yard pass down the field to Davante Adams. And then Aaron Jones next play runs it in 23-20. Packers hold him to a field goal. MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, one of the fastest receivers in the league, runs a 4.3. Gets jammed at the line and comes out. Burns Peters.
Yep.
And touchdown 27-26. Packers hold him to a field goal.
The Packers punt on that field goal drive.
Was
so bad. The Packers punter all day really had a tough game.
I'm going to summarize the game, and then I'll go back and talk about the flaws. So then, traded punts. Rams get a field goal. And then, Ty Montgomery fields it about 2 yards deep in the end zone. And let's waste 2 minutes. It was like 2 minutes and 8 seconds. He wastes the 2-minute warning. Comes out. It's like an 8-second return. Fumbles. Rams ball. Lose a 2-minute warning. Rams have a 3rd down. Todd Gurley, like the smart, great player he is, gets the 1st down and just falls in bounds. Game over. Packers lose. Now, let's go back and look at the flaws. 1, the slow start for the Packers. 2, so they have a 3rd down, 3rd and 6. The drive that they punted that led to the Rams field goal to take a lead.
Yep.
3rd and 6. And you have 2 timeouts. It's a close game. And the audacity of Mike McCarthy to think, let's try and draw them off sides. The game plan was to try and draw them off sides, and they used a timeout. 5 minutes left, close game. Use their 2nd timeout, and they come out next play. Ty Montgomery blows a pass protection, and Aaron Donald just takes down Aaron Rodgers, and we call a timeout for that. And then we couldn't use the timeouts at the end of the game. And then, so Ty Montgomery was benched, and he was upset. He was infuriated. Threw a hissy fit on the sideline. And then going into the kickoff, he was told to kneel it, take a knee. And I'm guessing there was some carryover, some of him being upset for being benched. And he said, I'm going to do me. And he takes the kickoff and runs it out.
Fumbles.
And the Packers, Aaron Rodgers coming out, the offense was hot. He was slicing and dicing this Rams defense.
And once you get the ball in the hands of
Aaron
I'm putting Rodgers and Brady only in this category.
Yeah.
2-minute drills, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and if you only need a field goal, basically on top
barring a magic play,
exactly,
magic play by the defense, like the Eagles had in the Super Bowl.
Exactly,
barring a play like that,
that's the only way that Brady and Rodgers
are going to turn it over.
Usually lose a 2-minute drill, especially 2 points. All the Packers needed was a field goal.
The defense played so good.
I could think Aaron Rodgers would get a touchdown, but all they needed was a field goal. They were down 2.
The Packers would have been 4-2-1 on top of the division.
Yep.
With the stretch they have, going to New England next Sunday night, I'll be there. It'll be a great game.
Then that will be live streaming from New England.
Home for the Dolphins. They got the Seahawks. They got the Vikings. That's a stretch. The division is not. The division is so
Pats
up
and
for
Vikings
grabs.
are the only tough games. I think that game between the Vikings and the Packers in a few weeks will be the decider.
This game was so there for the taking. The defense played so good. The Packers came out in the second half ready to go, and it's like Tom Montgomery blew the game. The running was there. Jair Alexander played fantastic. The Rams were held to 29 points. That is absurd. The Rams offense is so good. Like Aaron Rodgers just repeatedly, and now
And you can't expect Alexander to have that good of a game every week.
And now
he played out of his mind.
it's just sad because this looked like the year they could easily take a jump. Jimmy Graham looks lost. This looks like a year that they can take a jump, and now they're gonna be the same team that we've seen from years. That the team struggles, but because of Aaron Rodgers, he takes them where they need to go,
playoffs.
and they might just be that wild card team, that team in the playoffs that no one wants to see.
Yeah.
You go back a few years ago, they beat the Giants. They were a 10-6, not a good team at all, but they have Aaron Rodgers. Beat the Giants at home. Go into Dallas to the 13-3 Cowboys and beat them, and just don't have the firepower to beat the Falcons. Teams don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. They don't want to see this Packers offense, and it looked like the year that they could finally
Go take the next step.
take a next step and be a 1 seed, be a 2 seed, and they just
And there's
plays
such,
like this.
there's such a difference between. I mean, obviously you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers on the road, but there's such a difference between seeing Aaron Rodgers being in Lambeau. Imagine the divisional game in Lambeau, the conference championship in Lambeau. Like it's just such a difference.
I hope the Packers. The issue is the Packers. I mean, the Panthers are probably going to have the 5 seed locked up.
Yeah.
Ideally, as a Packers fan, what I want to see is I want the Packers to get the 6 seed, or say they lose the division,
Yep.
they get the 6 seed. The winner of the Packers division, say it's the Vikings, go like 9-6-1.
Mm-hmm.
Redskins
Get the
go
third
10-6
seed.
with the 3 seed. Rodgers gets to go into Washington, beat them again, which he's done in the playoffs. Then go to LA, play the Rams, where the Rams, their stadium, it was almost a home game for the Packers.
Yeah,
a lot of go Pack
I
go
know.
chants. I want them again, and then they win that game, and then probably go to the Superdome.
Mm-hmm. I think even if
I was
know.
miserable last night. I was not in a
Yeah.
good state. It's just tough because Aaron Rodgers just makes magic happen, and he had the opportunity to probably go down and win the game against this Rams team, and it would have been a statement. It would have been, wow, the Packers could be back.
And you're only going to get an Aaron Rodgers once if you're the Packers. And sure, they got one Super Bowl with him, but they are wasting a window where they have not the best quarterback in the world, or is right now talent wise best quarterback in the world.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can argue with Brady, obviously, but just talent, just pure throwing the ball. Aaron Rodgers is the best in the league. We haven't seen anyone like him in a really long time. You are wasting a championship window because your GM for the last 5 years
Now we're looking
refused to sign defensive players.
Now they're looking to trade Hocklin and Dix.
I know.
Let's get to tears. Let's get out of here. I'm done.
Matt's done with football for today.
Okay,
So let's separate right now. Patriots, Chiefs, Saints, Rams.
I think we should just do tiers of each conference.
Okay.
So AFC,
Okay.
it's going to be the Pats and the Chiefs, or
Yep.
Chiefs, Pats. Then I think right under them is Chargers, and then
Under that is the
is
Steelers, Bengals, Texans.
No, I think Steelers are even in their own tier too.
So like the third tier.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
it goes to Texans, Bengals, Ravens, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
And then the rest of that is just Tennessee, maybe a little bit below that fourth tier, but
Then we go
the
to
NFC is so much better than the AFC. It always
NFC.
is.
Rams and the Saints, no doubt.
I think the Rams are their own. I think you got to put the Rams above the Saints.
The Saints are so good.
I know.
Okay,
The Rams
Rams,
A
Saints.
little bit
I'll
below.
put the Saints a little below. Then the Panthers in their own tier.
Yep.
Then you got Washington,
Packers,
the Packers,
Vikings.
the Vikings. I think the Eagles.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Chicago a little bit below
Chicago below them, Seattle there too.
that. Dallas
Atlanta.
lurking there. But I think two teams that we can lock in for the 1 and 2 seeds.
Is a
Chiefs, Pats,
Rams,
Saints, Rams, yeah. And I think there's like certain playoff locks you can say. I think the Packers will make the playoffs. I think the Panthers will make the playoffs.
The Packers, the worst they can do. Let's just say, all right. Say they lose. Say they go 3-4-1. Lose to the Pats, beat the Dolphins 4-4-1. Say they lose to Seattle 4-5-1.
They're not going to lose.
Just
I don't think they will, but okay.
all right. We'll say they split the Seahawks and the Vikings, so they'd be 5-5-1. Home for the Cardinals 6-5-1. Home for the Falcons 7-5-1. At the Bears
Toss up. Good game.
Okay.
I think they'd win.
I think I know 8-5-1 Jets, 9-5-1 Lions.
10-5-1. Yeah. So I think the Packers can be locked.
I think once we get to December, which is Cardinals, Falcons, Bears, Jets, Lions. I don't think the Packers are going to lose a game. Aaron Rodgers is lights out in December. Oh, I want to see him in the playoffs again. I want the Rams. I want all these teams. I can't wait.
If Aaron Rodgers, if your Packers get to go into Washington in a playoff game and play the Redskins, I will be so happy for you.
If there's one team that I don't think the teams want to see the Packers.
And I think every team wants to see the Redskins. They might be the worst 3 seed if they get it on paper, but you go back to the nurse, go back to bed. Matt might not be in for the rest of the week.
I'll be here to preview Packers Patriots. I will be here.
He's really upset, but especially if Brady and beats Rodgers this week. But Monday Night Football, quick preview: Pats Bills. Pats are gonna kill them by 40.
I'll get if the Packers lose, I'm just gonna get trashed next week by all the Patriots fans.
Yeah, it's not easy living in New England being a Packers fan, but Patriots are gonna win tonight. Once again, congratulations to the Red Sox on winning the World Series, and I'm gonna go hold Matt up as we walk out. He might fall over.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry.
But Football Focus. I'm Ben Aronson here with
Matt Martin.
See you next week, or see you this week for our
We'll preview the games.
preview. Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to Football Focus. I'm Ben Aronson here with
Matt Martin.
We're in a little bit of a different setting today, in the library conference room at CHS. And today we got a little playoff preview. You know, we're midway through the season, and we thought this would be the right week to do it. So, without further ado, Matt, introduce our first breakdown of how we're going to do this.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the AFC. We're going to just pick the division winners and seed them, and then the wildcard teams. And then go to the NFC, seed them, wildcard teams, and then go weekend by weekend picking the games until we get the Super Bowl winner. And it'll be nice to look back on this in
See how long we did.
10 weeks.
Alright, without further ado, let's break down the AFC. So, clear-cut division winners. We can right in the Patriots, virtually.
And Patriots and Chiefs.
And the Chiefs. Patriots and Chiefs are definitely locks for the divisions, I'm pretty sure.
Chiefs have a 2-game lead over the Chargers, 2.5 game lead over the Chargers.
And have the tiebreaker over them.
And I think they're going to win the division. The 1 seed discussion.
The one seed will be the Chiefs, just because of strength of schedule. The Pats still have games against the Vikings and the Packers. And the Steelers.
Oh, I will be at that Patriots-Packers game this Sunday night, so
Matt is really looking forward to that.
back. 2 seed, I think we're 7 Patriots.
Yep.
Some awesome handwriting there. Yeah, we have the AFC South and the AFC North. I
Both
know
are not easy to pick, but I think we can agree on the South.
I would love to sit here and pick Andrew Luck. If they beat the Texans in that overtime game where they went forward in their own territory, I would pick the Colts to win the division. But Texans are 5-3. Colts are 3-5. Everyone else is 3-5. Tiebreakers.
No, and everyone else is inconsistent. The Texans have won 5 games in a row. They're hot. I think we got to write in the Texans as the
and as the 4 seed.
4 seed. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I know I've been hot in this team, and we both picked the Cincinnati Bengals to win the division a couple weeks ago.
No.
But
It didn't work out that way.
looking now, Pittsburgh 4-2-1, Bengals 5-3. They still play it twice. The Bengals defense doesn't look good.
Chance of Le'Veon
They play one more time. The Steelers already won.
Chance of Le'Veon Bell returning. I think you got to give this one to the Steelers. I think the division goes to the Steelers. I think at the beginning of the year we both picked the Bengals, but a lot of circumstances, and again the inconsistency within teams in the NFL is absurd.
All right. Yeah, wild card. I think the 5 seed can slide in the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers are a lock.
But the 6 seed, we got like the Bengals, the Dolphins,
The Ravens.
I'm gonna take out the Titans.
The Colts. You're hot in the Colts.
I don't know the Colts, but can they catch
I don't
Cincinnati?
think so.
Cincinnati already beat them, so it's a 2.5 game advantage over the wild card.
I think I know. I'm going to lean towards the Bengals. I
don't think their schedule is that difficult at the stretch.
I mean, I think it's coming down to one of the AFC North teams. I think it's either coming down to the Bengals or the Ravens.
The Bengals have a bye, and they're home for the Saints, at the Ravens. That's probably 5-5.
Yeah.
Then they're home for the Browns, home for the Broncos is probably 7-5. At the Chargers, 7-6. Home for the Raiders, maybe 8-6. At the Browns,
9-6.
look like a 9-7 team. I think it's between. It's not the Dolphins are not in the conversation.
Yeah, but I don't think the Dolphins are a playoff team.
Steelers are 4-4 with the Steelers coming to town. Say they win.
Coin flip.
Say they're 5-4. Then home for the Bengals 6-4.
Yep.
Home for the Raiders 7-4. At the Falcons 7-5. I think. At the Chiefs 7-6. Home for the Bucks 8-6. At the Chargers 9-6. It'd be like 9-7, I think, too.
And I think I think I gotta pick the Bengals.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
I think the Bengals can win more of those games and more of those tough games than the Ravens can. Alright, so we have our AFC set. We got the 1 seed Chiefs, 2 seed Pats, 3 seed Steelers, 4 seed Texans, 5 seed Chargers, and the 6 seeded Bengals.
I'm just gonna without further ado, just slide to this side.
Yeah. 1 seed is definitely the Rams, if they even lose a game this year.
Should have came this week versus Green Bay. I had to talk about that on Monday's show, yesterday's show, which you should check out.
I think we can slot in the Saints at the 2 seed.
I also think they have the Carolina's 5-2, New Orleans 6-1. New Orleans already beat Carolina.
New Orleans
I'm not too high on Carolina.
We can slot them
Washington's
at
only a
the
game behind them too. Oh, game and a half, but yeah, I think we can slot in the Saints. I think the 4 seed is going to be easier to pick than the 3 seed. I think we know who it is. Or have we decided? Are you still on the Eagles?
No. I think the Redskins win the division. Their schedule is so easy. They're already 5-2.
Are we saying 3 seed or?
I think they have to be a 3 seed. I think they'll win more games just because the Packers and the Vikings and the Bears and the Lions are all going to beat up on each other. So I think we got to slot them as a 3 seed.
Wow.
If I told you that in the beginning of the year, I would have been made fun of.
And then this guy right here. Who is this?
I'm picking the Packers. I think while they've both had inconsistencies, I think when it comes down to quarterback play, that's what's going to decide the division.
As long we saw something similar to this a couple of years ago when the Packers needed to run the table, and the division was up for grabs. And late in the season, I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers to get them there.
Yeah, and I trust Aaron Rodgers way more than I trust Kirk Cousins.
That's an R. That's not a P.
You're going to write Rodgers.
I was going to write Rodgers.
I mean, you basically could. It's like the same thing.
So now,
2 wild card teams.
I think 5 seed is Carolina.
Carolina is the 5 seed, yes. And I think with the 6 seed, I know where I'm leaning towards.
I'm leaning
towards the Vikings. I can't see the Vikings not making the playoffs.
They're just not that good.
They're not that good, but they're better than the Bears. They're better than the Lions.
So they're 4-3-1, and they have home with the Vikings, probably 5-3-1.
Mm-hmm.
At the Bears,
I think they'll win that game.
6-3-1. Home for the Packers,
6-4-1.
6-4-1. At the Pats, 6-5-1. At the Seahawks,
I think they're gonna win that game.
just say it's 6-6-1.
Okay.
Home for the Dolphins, 7-6-1. At the Lions,
I think they're gonna win that game too.
8-6-1, and then home for the Bears. Say they're 9-6-1.
I think they can make the playoffs at 9-6-1. Who else is gonna contend with that?
Then there's
The
Seattle.
Bears? I don't think Seattle's a real team.
But just wait. They've won a couple games. They beat the Lions and the Raiders and the Cardinals.
Those teams
Home for the Chargers. Seattle's favorite in that game. At the Rams, they played them tough.
It's a loss.
Okay, so that's 4-5. Home for the Packers, probably it's a loss. 4-6. Panthers. Alright, the Vikings. The Bears, I'm sorry, you guys need to beat a real team.
So the Vikings get that key matchup with the Redskins that I love. I mean, as a Vikings fan, you love. As a football fan, you love.
Cousins against his. Alright, let's start in the AFC.
Yeah. I'll let you come on.
Chargers, Steelers. I don't think the Texans can win a game with the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers win. And then I got
God, it's so hard picking the Chargers in a playoff game.
Steelers win too.
Yeah, this will be a good game, but.
It's always a playoff game between the Steelers and the Bengals.
Ooh, that's not how. Oh yeah, that's how.
Yeah, it is. Because if the Bengals won, then they go up to the Chiefs.
Now we go over here.
Rams win the Super Bowl. Sorry. Sorry, I thought we were on that part. I got Packers in this game.
I don't.
Aaron Rodgers with the ball way more than I trust Cam Newton.
We have seen mobile quarterbacks just manage the Packers before. Colin Kaepernick comes to mind, 2 straight years in the playoffs.
If it comes down to a shootout, you're picking Aaron Rodgers. No doubt.
Then we got
I can't pick the Redskins in a playoff game. I really can't. I think Kirk Cousins will light them up, and I think that's a great draw for the Vikings. But I don't know how far.
Oh no, that's not. It would be
Vikings, Rams.
God, that is a draw.
Packers, Saints.
Wow. Remember a couple weeks ago when we thought this would be Saints Eagles or Vikings Eagles, and now it's like Eagles not in the playoffs.
No, that's it's bad. All right, Chiefs, Pats. You can't pick against either one of those teams.
This will be a good game though.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I also think this will be a good game.
I think the Patriots will. If it's in New England, I think the Patriots will. Usually, I think they always win handily over the Steelers in New England.
I don't know. I have a different feeling. If the Pats don't add someone at the deadline, I have a weird feeling about this year.
I think they
because I don't think Robert Gronkowski is healthy.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, though, they'll rest him towards the end of the season, especially if they know they can't get the 1 seed.
Okay, and then
Rams.
Sorry, Vikings.
Sorry, Vikings. The Rams will beat you by. Actually, the Vikings played them pretty well, but this Rams team's on another level right now. This is gonna be the game, maybe of the playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees.
We haven't really seen this much. When you think about it,
I think we've seen it twice.
We
saw it week 1 the year after the Packers won the Super Bowl. AJ Hawk on a goal line stand of Mark Ingram. That was a sick game.
Yeah.
And then
the playoff
a couple years ago, Rodgers got hurt in a regular season game. The Packers lost in New Orleans, but we haven't seen this game.
I don't know if they've ever played in the playoffs.
I don't think they have.
We've never seen the same. Think about that. The NFC, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the last 10 years, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, have never played each other. And if this is the scenario, how do you even decide who's going to win? You have 2 great offenses. You have the Saints defense, who's been playing well of late, but has been known to give up tons of points, and you have a Packers defense who looked amazing against the Rams, and now they could get what? They usually go 40 points. I mean, you know it's going to be a shootout.
I don't love the Alvin Kamara matchup. Looking at this game, I feel like Alvin Kamara would be someone who could hurt the Packers. Mm-hmm. I'm not that afraid of Michael Thomas.
You just put 2. You can put.
I think because if Jair Alexander can play the way he played against the Rams in a big game like this one, and slow Michael Thomas down, not stop him, he'll catch 2 balls, but slow him down, and it comes down to this Packers run defense with Kenny Clark, the defensive lineman, who is probably top 5 defensive player in the league.
Yeah, top 5 run stopper. Yeah,
top 5 defensive player. He has been a great. And the Saints defense is not that good. They had a great game against the Vikings, making turnovers.
It's gonna be a coin flip. Like I don't know if I can pick. My heart's telling me Saints, but I'm going to let you try and sell me on the Packers. Because I know you're going to say Packers, but my heart's telling me Saints.
I just think it's going to be a close game. That's great for shooting. It's going to be a close game. And we saw it this week. The Packers went on the road against a team that is leaps and bounds better than them. But because of the historic play of Aaron Rodgers, I'm guessing that Ty Montgomery in this game, he probably won't take another.
I don't even know.
He probably won't even on the field.
I don't even know if Ty Montgomery will be on the Packers at this point in the season.
But tell me this: if we go back 2 days, and in the Packers-Rams game, Ty Montgomery doesn't take it out of the end zone, Aaron Rodgers gets the chance to go down and wins this game, who do you pick to win this game?
The Packers.
And I think there is not a.
But I also feel like there's a difference between going into LA, where the Rams have less fans than the Packers did, and then going to the Superdome.
I also think the thing is, the Rams pass rush, the strength of their defense was the weakness of the Packers offensive line. The Saints pass rush isn't that great.
Yeah, just can't.
And I just don't love. There's no way to play Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Drew Brees. There's nothing to do against them. And I feel like if you give Rodgers time to sit back there. He's just going to pick you apart. And I just don't think the Saints pass rush can get enough on him. And we saw the running game coming into play against the Rams.
They need to use Aaron Jones more.
Look at what he had. That was the first game where he really didn't dominate the carries, but he
should be the main running back for them.
He had 12 or 86 and a touchdown.
Yeah. So he should. I don't get why.
Williams had 4 carries. Montgomery had 2. I think he.
All right, I'm fine slotting in the Packers. I'm fine with it.
I think it'll be a very good game.
I go to slotting in the Packers.
It reminds me of that Cowboys game
Where
years ago,
Rodgers was done.
where the 13-3 team was leaps and bounds better than the Packers, but magical play can get you so far.
Jared Cook. Was that the Jared Cook catch against the Cowboys?
Tiptoes on the sideline. That was. There's been some great moments as a Packer fan, but that was one of them. Okay. Interesting. I couldn't have guessed this. I couldn't have guessed going into it we'd have Pats Chiefs.
I didn't think that either. I was thinking more like Titans, Bills maybe, but here we are.
This game is going to be so fun because this is happening. It's happening. The world needs it. But what if the Chargers upset them in a really close game?
I'd love that.
In the games in New England.
And then the Patriots win. That'd be beautiful.
I would hate that.
That'd be beautiful.
That would be beautiful for you. Yeah, it's like hopefully the Vikings can beat the Rams.
Okay, but realistically, would you rather see Patrick Mahomes play Aaron Rodgers if the Packers win this game, or would you rather see Tom Brady play Aaron Rodgers? Just a legacy standpoint.
Definitely Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Definitely Tom Brady because
I'm picking the Pats. I'm picking the Pats regardless. I think we gotta wait to see what they do at the deadline, but they already beat them. It was at home, but they already beat them. They were up by a lot at one point. Let them get back into it. But I think if the Pats had a cornerback and some linebacking depth and some defensive line depth, I think the Pats could win. I think experience. It's experience. Andy Reid has not been good in playoff games.
I have faith in Bill Belichick. It's hard to pick against Bill Belichick.
It's hard to pick against Bill Belichick.
I think these last 8 games are going to be telling for this matchup, but barring no injuries, these teams went together right now and played. I think the Chiefs would win.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
But
and a playoff game is
going to be a playoff game.
Patrick Mahomes will have 2 playoff games under his belt. Andy Reid has been so bad in playoff games.
What has been the recipe to beat the New England Patriots in playoff games?
Think about teams.
Think about teams that have beaten the Patriots in the playoffs. You think of the Eagles.
Run pass option.
The Ravens, right? The Ravens.
Strong defensive teams.
The Jets from a couple of years ago. That upset.
Teams need great defenses.
Then you look at teams that we're so excited to see these games.
Great offense. Great offense. Patriots.
We're always excited. We're excited to see Steelers pass. We're excited to see Colts pass with Andrew Luck. But what happens? Belichick makes a game plan. Great defensive coach. He finds the weakness in this defense and he exploits it. Yeah. Like you look at games like the Ravens game. The Ravens defense is phenomenal. That's why they couldn't beat them. The Jets defense, phenomenal. And a little bit of running game the Patriots couldn't stop. Who was the third one? The Eagles. Yeah. That defense is so good. That defense was legendary last year.
The Chiefs have the running back that will give the Patriots fits, but at the same time,
how are the Chiefs going to stop?
How are the Chiefs going to stop the Patriots?
God, that's Mark sucks. That says Patriots. That says Pats. Those of you who can't read.
I think you're going to try and tell me in this game, but I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah, I would love to sit here and convince you.
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be just like last week. I think it'll come down to the wire. Maybe Rams win on a game-winning field goal.
I think it's going to be one of those where whoever has the ball last will win the game.
Yeah. I just can't. Right now, I can't pick against the Rams, and both of our hometown teams are going to lose because we can't pick the Packers for you to beat the Rams, and I can't pick the Patriots to beat the Rams.
God, how great would it be to get to see Aaron Rodgers? Say they fumble, say something happens.
Yeah.
We get to see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady go head-to-head in the Super Bowl.
That'd be amazing.
We've been waiting for it for years.
But I think there's a good dynamic here. I think we have the best coach in the NFL and the next best coach in the NFL. I think that's an interesting storyline to follow. One of the younger teams, one of the older teams, the dominant legacy, the up-and-coming new team. But I think at the same time, I'd love to see an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady Super Bowl. But I think the emergence of the Rams just makes that impossible. But you can't pick the Rams not to win the Super Bowl. as of right now, bearing any injuries, I mean, they're doing all this without Talib. They haven't lost a game. Talib hasn't played in like a few weeks. They're gonna add Talib. They might make a trade at the deadline. You can't not pick the Rams.
So see, this is the Super Bowl we're picking. But what are some other possible matchups we could see?
We could see Packers, Pats. I could say Saints, Pats. I could say Saints, Chiefs, Rams, Chiefs, Packers.
I think there's only 5 possible Super Bowl teams. Rams, Packers, Saints, Pats, Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think after Rams, Pats, most realistic is probably Rams, Chiefs.
Yep.
Then Packers,
Pats. Then Packers, Chiefs.
I would
then
also.
Saints, Pats. Then Saints,
I'd also
Chiefs.
love to see a Saints Pats Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a
Drew
great
Brees
one.
versus Brady. The end of Father Time. I don't know.
Father Time is undefeated.
Father
So
Time.
it's coming for these two. It's coming. Father Time is undefeated.
Eventually.
Eventually, but Father Time will never lose. But right now,
They've both been written off for the last 3 seasons, and they both come back every season and dominate. So,
hopefully when the time comes, it is not them. Hopefully, it would be this. 12 versus 12.
let's see what happens. So, we won't be here tomorrow. I will be at the parade.
I will not be at that parade.
But this is Football Focus. This is our playoff preview. And Friday we will do our. We'll actually recap. Friday we'll recap Thursday Night Football. We'll preview the upcoming week in the NFL. Matt will talk about the Packers-Pats game. He will be there. He will be watching.
Isn't the Thursday night game really bad this week?
I'm pretty sure it's really bad.
I think
it's really bad.
I think it's Raiders 49ers.
That's disgusting.
I'm
Okay.
positive it's Raiders 49ers.
Maybe we won't even have to recap that game.
Maybe we won't. Maybe that game will just get lost in time.
We'll also do a quick preview of the NFL trade deadline, but this has been fun. Please don't hold us against us if we get any of these wrong. There's possibility, but we feel pretty confident in our picks. And from Football Focus, I'm Ben Aronson here with
Matt Martin.
We'll see you on Friday.